Hi everyone, Tom Wolf here, and in this video I'll be showing you how to create this simple lo-fi granular texture in Omnisphere. This is a preset called Bits and Bells which was included for free in the Synth Vault in June 2022. Let's have a look at how to create it. So let's start with layer A, and layer A starts with a sample called Rainfall Bells. Now this is one of the reactor samples that are included with Omnisphere, and there's some really cool lo-fi stuff in here. So if you come into the sample browser and go to source and then come to reactor, there's lots of really kind of creative lo-fi textures in here that you can use. For this particular preset we're going to use Rainfall Bells 1, and the sample sounds like this. Okay, so we've already got our envelope set here. So you can see we've got our amp envelope. We've got the attack set to about 6.5 seconds. We've got the sustain fully up, so our decay's not in play there. And then we've got our release set to 4.77 seconds. So we're getting this kind of pad shape to the sound. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run it through the Granular Engine. So if we come to the Granular Engine and switch that on, so you can see we've got this set to legacy mode. Now legacy mode is what was included, I believe it was in Omnisphere 1, and it's got this really kind of slow, kind of almost glitchy granular sound to it. Very different to the normal Omnisphere granular sound. We've got it set to speed mode, and speed is set to 0.5, so it's going to be going quite slow. So we turn the Granular Engine off. Kind of just breaking it down a little bit. As you can hear, the sample is already very kind of lo-fi and grainy, and this is just kind of breaking it apart slightly. If we switch the legacy off, you can hear the difference. So we've now got a much quicker, kind of smoother sound if we don't use the legacy. So the legacy kind of glitchiness is exactly what we want for this particular sound. So you can see we've also got the grain depth set to just under half, the intensity halfway, smoothing we've got set to just about 0.25, spread is all the way up, and we're not getting any detuning here or any grain pitching either. So if we come over to the filter now, and you can see this is a preset called Vhs Noise, which is one that I created myself. So I'll show you how we put together that filter preset. So we switch the filter on. In filter 1, we've got it set to the low pass UVI 2. The cutoff offset is just above halfway, so it's set to 0.53 roughly. And we've not got any resonance or variant offset here. We've then got filter 2 set to high pass UVI, and the cutoff offset is set to 0.419, so that's just below the halfway point. And again, we're not using any resonance or variant offset here. This is then set to series, so the sound is going to be running into filter 1, then feeding into filter 2 before coming out. When we're in series, the mix plays absolutely no part. That only comes into play when we're set to parallel. So what we're essentially creating here is kind of like a band pass filter where we're running through a low pass and a high pass to filter out everything below a certain point and above a certain point as well. The gain is set to just over 0 dB, and we've got it set to pre as well. The overall cutoff is set to 0.326. A little bit of resonance there. Variant is set halfway, so no variant there. Key follow set to halfway as well, and just a little bit of envelope following there. So if we come out to our filter envelope, again, we've got a very long attack for this, 8.5 seconds. Sustain is down to 0.4, so we have got a nice long decay here, almost 10 seconds, and then a really long release as well, which is just over 12 seconds. So if we play the sound without the filter, And then let's bring the filter in. You can hear we're getting a very kind of dark lo-fi sound that's really slowly opening up. So now let's have a look at layer B. So on layer B, we're using this bowed vibes sample. So that sounds like this. So we've got this really nice kind of glassy sound that's happening there. As you can hear, it is very short. So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch it with the Granular Engine. So we're going to switch that on. This time we're not set to legacy mode. We're in the normal Omnisphere 2 granular mode. We've got it set to position mode, and the position is set to 0.21 there. So you can see the Granular Engine is focusing around the very start of the sample here when it's in the kind of attack phase. And we're essentially stretching out that nice glassy sound so that we can use it as a sort of pad. For this, we've got the grain depth set to just above 0.75. We've got the intensity very low, 0.05. With smoothings halfway, spread is on full, and again, we're not getting any detuning or grain pitching here. We've also got the amp set to pretty much, I think it's exactly the same settings as layer A, so both of them are going to be opening the amplitude at the same speed. This is then running through another filter called Super Sweeper, and again this is another preset that I created myself, so let's have a look at how to create this. So in filter 1 we've got it set to bandpass power 24 dB. We've got the cutoff offset, resonance offset and variant offset all set to the center point there. We've then got filter 2 set to all pass, and the cutoff offset is just above halfway, so 0.520, and no resonance or variant offset happening there. Because we're in parallel mode, the mix does play a part, but we've got the mix set to 50-50, so we're going to be hearing equal amounts of each filter. And what this essentially does when it's in parallel is you get two signals feeding one into filter A and then out, and one into filter B and then out. So we're going to get a blend of both of these different filter types. So the all pass is basically a kind of phasing type of effect. So if we move the cutoff offset there, especially down there, you can really hear it phasing. So this is essentially just changing the timbre ever so slightly. We've got the cutoff set to about halfway there, 2.51 kilohertz. We've got the resonance quite high, 0.430. Variant is halfway, so that's not having any effect on our stereo field. Key follows down very slightly, so that's at 0.35, and then we've not got any envelope following happening here. So if we compare the raw sound with the filtered sound, so you can hear we're getting that kind of focused, phasey sound from the filter. So let's add these two layers together now. So we've got that kind of combination of the really lo-fi grainy thing on layer A with this really soft, smooth, glassy sound coming from layer B, which kind of makes it almost like a pad sort of sound with that grainy lo-fi text just sitting on top of it. So we're then going to come over to our effects. And we're going to switch on the flame distortion unit, which is here on our auxiliary channel. This is being sent from layer A, so you can see our aux end here is just under halfway, and then layer B as well. So we're getting a little bit less of layer B in here. This is set to 0.235. So if we come over and turn our aux return all the way up, we're now getting this very subtle kind of distortion that's darkening the sound and just adding a little bit of grit to it. So this is the burn setting in the flame distortion unit, and then we've got the pre-distortion, we've got the pre-gain set to 1.31 dB, set to low pass there, and we've got a little bit of filter going on there, and then we've got a little bit of post gain here as well, minus 7.5, again low pass filtering, and we've got the filter set to roughly the same place there, which is about 6 kilohertz. We'll then come over to our common effects, and so we're running it through a little bit of proverb, so the mix is set to 9, so we're not getting it too wet there. We've got the size set to 22, so very small there, but the time is set to 10,000 milliseconds there. A little bit of pre-delay, 14 milliseconds. Density is all the way up. We've also got the diffusion and the width all the way up there as well. We're then running it through the chorus echo with the mix set to just under halfway. This is set to echo mode, so the chorus echo is kind of modeled on the Roland Space Echo, so it gives this really kind of lo-fi tape echo sound. We've got the chorusing depth set to just under 40%, and we've got the rate set to 0.67 hertz, so quite low. We've got the feedback set to just under 40%, and the delay time is 810 milliseconds. And then this is going to be running through the precision comp as well, which is just going to kind of glue everything together. Input is set to 1.92. Ratio is set to 4.2 to 1. A little bit of sustain on here and 1.2 second release. So that now sounds like this. So if we remove all those effects, we get a much drier sound. We give it a bit of ambience with that reverb. A little bit of kind of chorusing, adding to the textural effect there with the chorus echo. And then we're gluing it all together there with the precision comp. And I'll just turn that level down slightly because that is boosting the level quite significantly. And finally, we're also using the Toxic Smasher. So if we turn that on and then we show modulation here, you can see the wheel is essentially opening that dry wet mix from 0% to 100% there. And that is going to give us a nice bit crushy sound. So to get that bit crushing sound, we've got the crush set to 0.15, reduce set to 0.48, no wave shaping going on here. And then over here, we've got the filter set to band pass with the cutoff set to 0.225 kilohertz and the resonance up to 0.6 kilohertz. So that gives us the preset Bits and Bells, which sounds like this. So that was how to create the preset bits and bells. If you're an Omnisphere user and you'd like to download free presets every single month, then head to synthvault.net. Every month I upload 5 brand new presets for Omnisphere for you to download for completely free, as well as free presets for various other soft synths. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe and ding the bell to be notified about my next video. Until next time, take care.